Okay, thank you, everybody. We are at the end of our MediaEd Forum, the 17th one, formerly the Northeast Media Literacy Conference. So thank you for endorsing my music choices to be the theme of this forum. Um, we're very excited as part of many changes that we've been doing at the Media Education Lab with the changes of our website, the logo, and different initiatives. And we're glad that continuing the legacy of the 16th conferences that came before us, starting in the University of Connecticut with Dr. Thomas Goodkind, who graciously, after he retired, hand over for the Media Education Lab to produce this amazing conference. And some of you experienced it in person back then, but now it's fully online. So we're very excited about all those discussions and sessions that have been going on in the last 2 days. It's going to take, I think, months to digest what we've been experiencing here. We're going to post the transcripts of the sessions on the schedule. And once we do that next week, we're going to share with you in an email that it's there, and you can use with resources that the speaker will give us as their presentation notes, links, and presenters who want to share their contact email that did that in the chat, or they're welcome to contact me, and we'll add those things there. You just received an email to your inbox. And in that email, we are asking you to fill up the Padlet that I put the link here as well. This is our creative way of doing program evaluation, and we're going to go over it in 20 minutes to explain to you what we're planning next and how to do. One little thing that I want to acknowledge before we start this closing session is our next initiative, because we never stop. If you know us, we always like on the go. So one of the thing is we're going to start in 2 days youth competition of Courageous RI. And I wanted to give Pam Stager like a minute just to mention and later to put links to it. If you have students, we highly encourage you to participate in it. Pam.
Great, thank you, Yanti. Yeah, so Courageous RI is in its third and final program of the initiative. It is the Youth Media Message Contest, and we are inviting youth around Rhode Island, around the country, and around the world to submit media messages that are linked to the themes of our initiative, which is using media literacy, active listening, compassion, and civic engagement to counter the hate that leads to the violence of targeted violence and domestic terrorism. So we are just inviting you all as educators or people that have young people in your lives to encourage them to take a look at the website. We'll put the link in the chat and check it out and start creating their messages in one of the 4 formats. It's open to middle school, high school, and college age students and youth. Thank you so much, Yanti.
Sure. Well, very much into youth media. And then the last thing before we delve into our reflection, as we always do when we have event, is the MediaEd Institute. So you got the email with the QR code that you see here. And we are giving it 50% discount, so it would be $199. And I'll just share a short video before we start to kind of share with you what it is all about. So here we go. So you can look at details at MediaEdInstitute.com on our website. The QR code here is for the registration itself, and you got an email with all the details in your inbox. Now, I want to invite the four co-chairs of this amazing two-day conference. We'll start with Barbara to reflect on insights. So each one will have several minutes to share their insights and what they're taking out of those 2 days conversation. And then we're going to invite you to have a discussion in this forum, but also in small breakout rooms closer to the end. So Barbara, go first.
Thanks. One of the most important things I learn and relearn every time I do a conference is the amazing, capable, professional, flexible, and creative coworkers we have if we consider we are all in this together trying to understand and foster enhanced media literacy. So I want to thank the people here. I want to thank the people in all the sessions because I've been learning as I've listened in breakout rooms, while I've listened to presenters, as I've read question and answers. So everyone, you're pretty awesome. Thanks a lot for coming. And it's great to see people again and again. Some of you I met at other conferences. Some of you I've met for the first time. I'd like to really thank the people who presented on engaged scholarship, because that was an area that is newer in the way I talk about doing research. And so I learned a great deal from them about listening to community, and I keep repeating their arguments, and I found many ways to take that into my own work. I was also super, super excited for listening to Cranky Uncle, even though we had some techno problems there. And my apologies for any techno problems we had in the grant session. I've since received messages from some of those people who could not speak to you, and they are very eager to share and talk to you if you want contact from them. Apparently living near an Air Force messes up one's internet. And that's what Melissa troubleshooted, whatever. But nonetheless, we've learned a lot together, and I think it's great to see that. I also am challenged to move forward, to think of new ways to apply the ideas I've learned from you all into my own research project. I have 4 or 5 ideas now that I didn't have before the weekend began. So my research got a kickstart, and it looks fascinating because classes start on Tuesday. But everything will happen, and I wish for you everything will happen too. And I'll pass off to our next leader.
Thank you. So I also took so many like things from my classes. Now I have like, I just need to make it like to my slides, but yes, great ideas and sharing practices. Iglika.
Wow. What to say? Probably you could make, and by you, I mean all the co-chairs, all the people in the Media Education Lab, the participants, all the community is making a person to dream to be a teacher, to dream to be a librarian. That is how I feel it. I'm teaching, but in a higher education with limited groups, and I can see how important work is from different perspective. And again, the second year that I'm so involved in this, I can see how we can frame, or we can just express differently important aspects and important the agenda and the zeitgeist of the media literacy now with all the challenges, but it is all connected. And I can see how everyone is having the macro picture and the micro picture through everyone's work. And this is what, for me, creates a huge value with all these sessions. And thankfully, they remind you there are recordings. So everyone missed a lot, I'm quite sure. Probably only Yonti, juggling between all these sessions. But we all missed a lot, and now we'll have a chance to see what we missed. From the strand, I think that was amazing learning curve and puzzle of different aspects, which thinking about media literacy from the first session about the two cities and this research in Rotterdam and refugees from Ukraine, think about identity, to think about belonging, all these, concepts that we talked so much about. And then with this strange improvised session on skeptical science and the Flick framework, it was very constructive, and I see a huge horizon here to speak more about game-based learning, about different theories, especially these controversial ones like the inoculation theory. And then moving to, of course, probably the topic of the day, the topic of the year, about artificial intelligence and these different states of mind and spirit between technopanic, moral panic, and the optimism and embracing opportunities, but being in control with all of that. And finishing with amazing session. I want more of that on human rights, freedom of expression, First Amendment, different approaches in different parts of the world, and we are all connected in this global village of being connected through internet, like here. So thank you so much, and amazing.
Thank you. Okay, Kathy.
Ditto, 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 ditto. This is really amazing, and I wish I would have gotten to other strands a little bit more, but was very inspired by the inside the classroom presentations that we had. It was wonderful to start with students and end with a young person doing the work of media literacy. I was really inspired by the elementary classroom production, what they were doing in the classrooms there with those students, with the building community, using media literacy and those skills to build community within their schools, and empowering students to be the voices for their community as well. And as a kind of a research geek myself, I love the policy discussion and the ideas of what we can be thinking about in terms of how does policy and our understanding of learning and learning components, how does that influence what we're doing in our classrooms, and how do we collaborate with higher ed and secondary and elementary educations to really further what we're doing. And then it was a joy to be up this morning at 4 a.m. my time to listen to perspectives from Palestine, Israel, Albania, different components in those two sessions, looking at how important media literacy is in times of conflict or times of war and in general, but it needs to continue to happen, because during those stressful times, as one of the findings is that some of the biggest some of the people who are doing most of the misinformation sharing are panicked citizens, not understanding. And so I thought that was a really important takeaway. I really appreciated the perspectives of the two projects that were presented by Davinia and David. I am going to incorporate culture jamming into my media literacy class now. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. And then finally, we wrapped up with some really practical ways of how are we furthering media literacy policy? How can we take the work that's been done by Rhode Island and the Media Literacy Index, and how do we apply that across the US and globally? So I really appreciated that. I just wanted to take a second to reiterate about please fill in the Padlet. And Yanti, did you want me to show that?
Wait a second.
Or do we
Before
need
go
to?
there, we'll get there, but
Okay. All right. Thank you.
thank you. So I want just to acknowledge before we move to Renee, and Renee will facilitate the discussion here with everybody, is that the diversity of different approaches. So the four strands, each one of them also represent where each one is coming. So Barbara is coming from the academia, Kathy's coming from the school, and Inglika is coming from the policy and the research and the journalism work that she's doing and with the gaming industry. So this was great in showing the diversity, how different perspectives are. And we want you also to think like, where do you fit in and how do you want to contribute for this conference next year that will happen again? And I know that I sound like I'm repeating myself, but I want again to thank, it feels like the Oscar, but this like award that we received last year for this exactly diversity, that thank you to Donna Alverman again for nominating us. That shows like the appreciation of those different contexts and different topics that end the discussion. For me, the biggest thing that, and we're going to do it right now, is the dialogue. And what this gathering is different than others, it's not just about the speakers, it's about the dialogical aspect that happens here, the breakout rooms, the connections. And yes, I was on the two sessions at the same time to just monitor that everything works, but I could see how projects are being now followed up. We have projects now of research, of grant writing, collaborating, and different people with different organizations that came. So that's really a big value that I appreciate that all of you participants and organizers are doing together. So now, Renee, for you to reflect on yourself and invite the people to reflect on it. We don't hear you.
Okay, good show. Thank you so much, Yanti. I first want to do a little synthesis around the really great discussions. We had two discussions. Can you give me a thumbs up if are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, but we see also the sharing screen. So
you're seeing the sharing screen? Yes. Oh, so hold on just a second. Let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, that might be the thing I'm looking for right there. So we used a really cool process, and part of the fun of it was generating questions. And I am going to go back and look more carefully, and I invite you to do this too. When you go to the website, now both of these links are live, so you can see the note-taking process, some of the amazing questions that got generated in the course of these two 1-hour programs. As I synthesize, and it'll take time, so this is just preliminary. As I synthesize what seemed to be the main takeaways, I found that there are like 3 big themes. One of them is a lot of questions around how we manage the divisiveness, the hyperpartisanship, the silos in the disciplines, and the gaps, and how committed this community is to managing divisiveness with inclusion and belonging by cultivating a community of trust and respect. And we're doing it here in the room, right? In the online space. And each of us then goes and does that again in the communities we support, in our schools, with our colleagues, and in our communities. A second big theme emerged, of course, around this issue of scalability. We are all trying to figure out how to do more with less, or how to do more with more, or how we grow this thing to what Malcolm Gladwell called the tipping point. And a whole variety of creative approaches are needed and were proposed, but they fell into 2 big categories. One was reaching new audiences, reaching beyond K-12, reaching beyond higher education, reaching new audiences. And then the other theme was building bridges with audiences we haven't served well yet, like law enforcement and military, like incarcerated youth, like people in rural communities, like conservatives. So that big theme was a juicy, meaty, and important topic for the MediaEd Forum, the 17th annual. And then here is the amazing thing that just was so inspiring to me, just in these two programs. And if I were to go back over my notes for the whole program, I bet I would find more. Just in these 2 hours, 4 very concrete and specific projects got hatched, got generated through sharing and dialogue. Of course, one we're super interested in for 2024 and beyond, how we disrupt fear-based thinking and how media literacy can help disrupt fear-based thinking. A second one, how we can pledge civility as communicators around this upcoming election. And so what can we voters say? We pledge that we will not spread false information that we know to be false just because it aligns with our ideological perspectives, that we will not use ad hominem attacks that activate strong emotions and promote hate. What are the things we can pledge to do as voters? And then what can we ask from our politicians to engage in civil discourse? And then very importantly, what can we ask for media companies and tech companies as we aim for civility? So in terms of thinking about scalability, things like this, I think, are really useful for creating momentum around the big problem that we're all experiencing right now, which is managing divisiveness. We were also thrilled to see how youth, very concrete and specific projects around youth leadership got hatched in this small group discussion, including programs that inspire us to reach new audiences, like, for instance, incarcerated youths or youth in detention programs, and then the need to grow a generation of young media literacy influencers, right? To take us into the world of TikTok, to take us into the spaces where kids are participating, to bring media literacy there. So those are some of the big ideas that hatched out of the discussion program. Now the floor is open as we try to do a little bit of synthesis. What big ideas are you taking away from today's program? What commitments are you making moving forward? What are you reflecting and what questions are you wondering about now? The floor is open. Use the raise hand or whatever button it is there, or just make some movement, and we'll hear from 3 or 5 of you. Who wants to go first?
Well, as I so often do, I will chime in. And I actually put this in the jam board. I really want to leverage the connections that I've made. I've, whether they're speakers or, other folks who were in various discussions, I've made a list of email addresses and want to leverage those for some collaborative activities on projects you talked about, or even just to get some more information or some reading, like, hey, Bob, can you send me some more reading on fear-based thinking, or, others. So connecting has been so important for me through the Media Lab. And so that's one of my big takeaways.
Thank you for sharing. Jamie, did I see your thumb up?
Yeah, that was for Pamela. In agreement with her.
Leveraging personal connections. You probably made some new friends or people you want to keep in conversation with. What else? As you synthesize the last 2 days of learning. Wade.
I'll jump in. First, thank you all. This has been, again, just very, very important and vital. This is my second time attending, my second year. And so thank you all. I think what I am really pleased about is the language that we are all using, that we're all recognizing and shaking our heads yes in agreement with across this wide world. And that emboldens me. And that was a big reflection, and the scalability aspect is a big reflection. And I look forward to following up with folks on the networking side, because again, this is just for the second year. It's now again giving me that next step to continue to implement, to do what I want to do. So thank you all.
Thank you for sharing. We are synthesizing. What are you taking away? What questions do you have? What commitments can you make?
Jamie.
Okay, so for real now. I am taking away the connection to my process with becoming media literate. So I came here from childhood, then earning my bachelor's in mass communications, media arts, and now graduate level, well, then elementary ed. And now this media forum allowed me to see the scholarship in it, to actually see it as all of you have seen it throughout your careers, as being the leaders and experts in this field from academia. So now I feel like my bridge has been built to that, because I've been on the other side of the spectrum with early childhood and my own childhood, as well as elementary education. So I really appreciate the level of professionalism, the expertise, once again, and the resources. And like Pamela said, the network is strong. So thank you all.
You rock, my friend. Who's next? What are you taking away? Scott, I see your hand raised.
I'll keep it short. I hope to follow up next year. Real Talk AI. Real Talk AI. I loved the European report. And now I'm looking for pedagogy and practice. I know it changes every day. It's moving into my media world. That I would just hang out with text for a little while and give me some time to catch up. But no, I want to see, there's no way we have a lot now, but I want to see progress, and I want to hear more about what's going on in the classroom.
And you're going to be part of that future too, as you continue your learning journey. You rock, my friend. Who's next? Bob.
Yeah, I'm wondering how, I mean, there's like two threads, and how to combine them is my question. So there's the thread of wanting to scale and reach more people, but also the threat to create a sense of belonging and community based on personal trust and respect. And so how do you maintain both? How do you scale while maintaining that sense of community in the groups that you're creating and the classrooms that are being taught?
It is the open question that we will try to work on as we think about how we're scaling up, how we're creating belonging, and how we're reaching diverse communities. You rock, my friend. Who's next? What are you taking away? What new questions emerged? What commitments can you make?
So I just want to put a tiny comment here. Since we're a smaller group, I don't think we're going to go into breakout rooms. We're going to hear we hear each other. And just to explain to you, we've been doing it for several years, this conference, but not necessarily online. And the way you experience it in the last 2 days have been iteration thanks to the feedback that we're getting every time at the end of the conference. So obviously, we always like to hear compliments, and we love to hear how you enjoyed it. And I love seeing the 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, the rating. But at the same time, we also want to learn and to make it better next year. So we really encourage you to give genuine feedback and what you experience, what you want. Like Scott was saying, more AI, definitely that was one of the things that people were saying. What do you want to see next year? And would you want to take a role in helping us making it happen?
Well, I just want to say that I know in the opening session, somebody said that in their small discussion group, they all missed in-person conferences. But I am so glad we are online and we get to have people from all over the world join us and all over the country join us. And there is no way I would have ventured out anywhere in Rhode Island this morning because we had a rain and windstorm to beat the band. So yay for online forums.
The guy from Liberia Oh man, wow, did that blow my mind? Yes, I can't wait to meet him in person, but boy, it was great to meet him online. What could we do? What could we learn together next year? What topics do you want to be exploring a year from now? What are topics we could have handled more? Barbara.
I would like to see some adult orientation sessions. That's what I would like to see. I'm not sure how I would phrase it, but because I'm not well, I shouldn't say I'm not a teacher. We're all teachers in certain ways. I'm not a formal certified teacher. I am not looking to work with, K through 12. And that's rather covered in many ways. I live in Ithaca with Cindy and Socks and Chris Sperry. Project Look Sharp is right here at Ithaca College. So they've covered a lot of the curriculum of incorporating media literacy. So I think I would like to see some adult stuff. I'm feeling very quiet during the last 2 days. I'm doing a lot of listening, but that's where I feel kind of I'm over here and everybody else is over there somewhere. So,
but we're glad you're here. Kathy Michael, I saw your hand raised.
Yeah, and Barbara, I'm sort of in Ithaca too. I work with Cindy as well. Very blessed to do that. So, hey, I met you once at the filming, at one of the filmings recently. I love the format. I'm glad it's online. I love hearing all the global voices. My big thing is about, I used it in one of the sessions on AI, is how we adapt all the changes. Adapting to the changes in technology, adapting in the last session I was to laws and the different policies. So I'm always trying to read up on policy and regulation and law. So those were of real interest to me. The only thing I think I might wish is I get that FOMO with all the other sessions going on, or anything I missed. So I almost wonder if we and we always run out of time to speak, that maybe you could do less. Fewer panelists, more discussion, and longer, more time for discussion, and maybe a little bit more between period stuff. So actually you should do less, but it was wonderful. It's just, I feel bad I'm missing out on some of the things I didn't see, and maybe I can look them up later on.
Thank you for sharing. A lot of important insights there. Thank you. Wade. And Donna.
Yeah, I would like to see next year a short session, maybe similar to what you did at the end, Renee, this year, where I had dialogues, but one of the topics of the dialogues would be, so what did we pledge, either personally or publicly, to do, and how successful were we, and what were the things that held us back that we're still determined to do differently in 2025. 2025.
Love that idea. Talk about our pledges of action, reflect on the challenges and opportunities. It's really like taking ourselves seriously as learners and leaders. Right? Because that's it. We'll see you next year and you will have done some stuff. What will you be proud of? What will have been your obstacles? Yeah, I love that idea. Make a commitment to come back and see us again and tell us what happened in the 12 months since today.
And I had a thank you for that. I had a thought. What about, we had talked at some point about how do we tell a story and get more people involved. What about there's maybe a one person or maybe we find one person from our group or our contacts. I'll use the young students, one who did the Maynard survey, and Arun from the high school lawyers group that the young student is trying to put together. But what if we found an issue or something and we document it? Doesn't have to be video, it could be just diary based, but somehow follow somebody's case for up to through X amount of months into the next year, and then use that as a case study to see that we can possibly speak about it at next year's conference.
Oh, Renee Gilbert, are you listening to that? That's what I want to do with the Rhode Island teachers who came. Yes, I love that idea. I love that idea. Wade, you're a genius.
Takes me a little bit to get there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Thank you for the nice words.
All right. We have how much time? Yanti, are we done? Do we have we have 2 more minutes to people make some commitments and reflections?
Yes. So let's, again, we'll put the Padlet that you can put there, but we really would like to encourage you like we did last year. And that's how we got Pam, Michelle, Inglika, Kathy, Barbara to join and help us to make it happen. This is not an effort of one person. This is a group effort that is taking months in preparation.
Yeah, and I love Bob, and I invite the rest of you, put your email into that chat because you can download that chat and start your conversation with your new friend right today. I just want to underline the point that Wade made. Could we designate a storyteller role and document or follow someone's journey? This idea builds on what Jamie just mentioned to us as she reflected on her own journey, that what she's recognizing is she was born to be a media literacy leader. But it was a set of steps, right? It was a process. It happened over time. And each of you, in the ways you're touching different people, are cultivating media literacy leaders. If we can document or do that more intentionally, that might be a very powerful, inspiring story. Wade's the storyteller in the room. I love that idea.
And also, just to mention, I know that there's a lot of session you didn't participate in and you want to, so we obviously will have the transcript there, but we also have at least one or most of the time 2 webinars per week. So I'm not saying you need to come to all of them, but there's a lot of ways to engage, and not just as participant, but also as the people who are showcasing. Like, just reach out to us. We're more than happy to accommodate and to have you present your work and be the person who is sharing your amazing work that each one of you is doing, or even just generate a conversation that interests you, and then people will come and have a conversation. So there's a lot of different opportunities. Bob, I think I saw your hand.
I just had a thought for next year. I would really love to see a model or a process that creates community within the participants that then could be replicated in other groups and classrooms and things like that. So how can we create an online community among ourselves over this brief period of time using approaches that others can use in wherever they're working?
Love that idea.
Rippling the
rippling
that's going to be your session.
MediaEd forum.
I popped up virtual viral hangouts. It's there. The link is right in the chat, just so you know.
To God, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Oh my God, that was wonderful. Thank you, Yanti.
Well, thank you all, right? So thank you. I'm going to put soon again the music to get everybody to log off the Zoom.
No, wait. Did you want to talk about the Padlet? No, we're done.
The Padlet we put, yeah, we got people are signing in and putting the stuff in, so we're all good. And again, we really appreciate you coming and joining us. So thank you for another great 17th MediaEd forum. So congratulations to everybody. And here's my music.
All right, bye.